Hello, everyone. So today is December 1st, and I thought that I'd bring to you a psychic forecast for this entire month. There are many, many things I want to discuss today, many messages I've been receiving from the Nine, which I feel can be beneficial to the entire collective as we continue to ascend. All right, so I'm going to translate a lot of the messages I received in a way that's digestible, in a way that's relatable for all of you. And this is going to be the month of portals. And I'll explain what a portal is. A portal is an opening that connects you to other worlds, that connects you to other realms of thought, that connects you to other levels of consciousness. It's a looking glass, if you will, and there are beings that can travel through them, and that includes us. We can travel through portals and intergalactically travel to other dimensions in order to glean or to extract data from other planetary systems, other constructs of consciousness. This month is going to be a huge test of where we now stand. The ones who've been putting in the work, the ones who have been focused on ascending themselves, the ones who've been focused on opening up their hearts. It's going to be a very turbulent month. What I'm being shown is the first 2 weeks might be a little turbulent, and then come Christmas and the New Year and so forth, things are going to wind down, and we're going to be able to celebrate and enjoy our family, our friends, and so forth. But this is carrying over from these last 2 weeks in November. There's been a lot of tumultuous activity, a lot of ups and downs emotionally. So, what's happening essentially is that there is so much of that higher frequency light pouring down onto Earth right now that it's uprooting all of those lower astral entities or lower astral energies that are part of a third dimensional matrix or a lower fourth dimensional matrix. So, the people around you, you have to remember that people around you can be used as drones, they can be used as hosts by lower astral beings. So you've probably already noticed that people are very quick to anger. They're getting overly defensive. They may project or displace their negativity onto you. And this is happening because of the light. The light, these higher cosmic frequencies, are targeting the darkness, everything that was invisible, everything that was hiding, everything that we were hidden from as well. So think of them as like little alleyways. So you have the streets, they look really pretty, and then you go into the alleyway and there's like garbage and there's all this stuff that you don't see when you're on that really pretty street. So all the entities that have been lurking in these alleyways are now being cleared, are now being given an opportunity actually to evolve as well, because we're all walking each other home, all of us. So these entities are being given a chance to evolve, and some of them will be way too threatened by this light or too blinded by the light that they're going to go ahead and hang on to the old way of beingness. They're going to hang on to the old way of existing because it scares them too much. So they would rather fight, with everything that they have in order to remain relevant on this world. Now, how this is going to manifest is that the people around you who may have these entities attached to them are going to be extra negative, or they're going to get passive aggressive or use innuendos or whatever it is that they do to try to pull you into their storm. Okay? Now, some of them may succeed. I know for me it's happened a couple of times this last week where it's almost like I lose my footing, and it's, I think some of us who do this work, we can also go to a very dark place sometimes because we can see how people aren't operating from the heart all the time, or that we have to get loud to be heard. Like it happened to me this week where I didn't want to get loud with this car dealership, but they weren't helping me. And then I had to get loud. And I even said, why is it that we have to get loud in order to be heard in this world? It shouldn't be that way. Like the more loving you are, the more we the more responsive the world should be. But this just goes to show that we're still operating within dense fields of consciousness, you know? So what's happening is that this is going to be portal month. So let me elaborate on this. Entities, which are energies, they like to generate honey through human beings. And they do this by mind control. They do this by implanting thoughts within you that don't feel so good. And then this stirs up a certain emotional state within you. And if this emotional state is associated to stress or anxiety or fearfulness or blame or shame or guilt, well, they get to take your energy. So they're like vampires, and they can bite your neck to then draw in blood. This is what they do. They are masterful at this. It is the only way that they can sustain themselves. Because if you're not operating from the heart and you're not pulling from source directly, then you have to use your mind power to be able to create divisiveness in humans to then harvest that energy. Anytime that you start to believe a thought that is fearful, or you start to believe an emotion that is really just you projecting onto someone else something that isn't true because you're hurt or you're defensive, well, it's most likely that you have an entity attached to you. You can think of it as a parasitic attachment. This is also a portal because the entity cannot attach onto you unless there's a portal that is opened by you, unwittingly so. So you're unconsciously opening up a portal by entertaining these emotions or these thoughts. These entities cannot grab a hold of you unless you believe what you hear in your mind. So there are higher portals, or you could say light portals, that connect you into the higher dimensional realities, like Pleiades, like Sirius, like Arcturus, like the angelic realms. And then there are lower portals or dark portals that will connect you to the lower astral realm. And this is typically where they will pirate your energy. A lot of people around you right now are experiencing entity attachment, and they have no idea. It's unbeknownst to them. They have no idea this is going on. So people like that who are already being overruled by these parasitic energies are indeed going to get very frustrated or aggravated or try to poke and probe to get a reaction out of you. Because the way that this energy works is it spreads like a fungus, okay? So let's say that you have someone who's really agitated and then they take it out on someone else. Well, they've just infected that other person. That other person is going to, it's going to rock their boat, and then they're going to feel a certain way, and then it's a domino effect. You understand? It's a domino effect, but we're just pretty much being thrown around as if you have a bunch of demons around you and they're throwing you out around in the circle before they devour you. This is typically what happens with people. Now, most people aren't aware of this because they only have access to 1% of the visible light spectrum, but there is so much that goes on interdimensionally, extra-dimensionally, and it's all around us. We just don't see it. And I promise you that if you saw it, you would probably be extra disciplined when it comes to what you speak, because abracadabra, as I speak, I create. You would be extra cognizant of everything that comes out of your mouth, and also extra cognizant of which emotions you are choosing to embark upon. They're like a ship that you embark upon, because those emotions can sometimes take you down a rabbit hole, and then you feel horrible, and then it takes a lot longer for you to get back into a space of harmonic alignment. So this is the first 2 weeks is going to be a portal time frame. Because remember, whenever Christmas is around the corner, consumerism, all of this, these energies like to take advantage of this as well, right? Oh, am I giving enough to my family? Is it, or do I have to spend extra when it's not really in line with your truth? Or maybe it is in line with your truth to spend extra, but they love to use this time of year to grab hold of as much energy as they can. So what I was being shown by the nine is that there are a lot of portals that are being opened right now by humans under the influence of other beings, of these lower astral beings, because they don't want to close out the year. They don't want to close out the year powerless. They want to close out the year with a bang. They want to ensure that they create as many entanglements as they can. Think of it as emotional bondage. You know, when you get in a fight with someone, that's bondage. When you are codependent of someone, that's bondage. When you are hurting someone, that's karma. That's more bondage. So they don't want to close the year out with the light quotient being super high. They are going to attempt, it doesn't mean they're going to succeed, but they're going to attempt to vie for control, to vie for all of this power in order to keep humans under their dominion. They want to ring in the new year with a lot of entity attachment. But now I'm going to get into the positive aspect about all of this. And just so you know, when I talk about these entities, there is nothing to fear, you guys. All right, I speak from a viewpoint of the future. All is well. We already succeeded. We are just in the past seeing how it all unfolded, how all of these events unrolled. It's like a carpet. How did it unroll? We wanted to take part in this. We wanted to witness what we've already achieved within the spiritual dimensions, but we wanted to experience it in physical form because it was something to see. It's an unprecedented time right now. So the positive aspect is that if you manage, and it's really important that you manage your emotions right now, if you don't let the people around you try to stoke the fire or trigger you, and you maintain your vibration. That's why the nine also emphasize we have to keep our vibrations up this month. We have to, because it's important for your spiritual immune system to be very strong. This way you are impenetrable. This way you are impervious to any attempts made on you. Okay? So the good news about this month is that if you're able to uphold your vibration and you're able to uphold a higher frequency, well, we have a chance right now to move into more oneness. We have a chance to look at our propensities to go to the dark side and instead catch ourselves in real time and rewrite the story and edit the script and say, I'm not going to go back to that old way, or I'm not going to let this external force, drive me into a lower vibration. I'm instead going to choose to maintain my higher vibration and remain in the heart. So no matter what people say to you, no matter what people do to you, always remember that the heart is the point that you always want to focus on. Okay? Your heart is home. When you're home and your doors are locked and your windows are sealed, there is nothing that can happen to you. You're in a safe space. When you're in your heart, you're in that space of unification and unity consciousness, and anything that is of a dualistic nature cannot even find you. You become undetectable. This is very important for you guys to understand. You'll notice that whenever you jump into the ring with someone who's trying to debate you or someone who's trying to push your button, you're doomed because you've just jumped back into duality reality, and then you're going to get that immediate clapback or that immediate ramification because you've entered again, you've re-entered the field of duality. Pay attention to this. I do with myself all the time. It's like I'm holding my own, and then I will decide, let me just play there for a second, and boom, right away. And then I feel horrible the next day, or I feel horrible. Then I have to work on meditating to get my vibration up again. So remember that the heart is what anchors you into that Christed consciousness, into that unity consciousness, into the crystalline grid. It is the crystalline grid. So this is going to be a very interesting month. As I said, It's important to manage your emotions. It's important to bring additional awareness to your propensity to want to get negative or to want to rebuttal, to have a rebuttal, and instead remain in your heart. Right now, at a collective level, we have an opportunity to glue together as one, to bring more of the pieces of this puzzle together so that we can understand the bigger picture of reality. Okay, it's really important that we remain heart-centered, but remember, it's also important to have discernment, because the third eye works in concert with the heart. The heart works in concert with the third eye. So you don't just let people push you around or displace their unhappiness onto you or their discontentment onto you. You stand up in love. You stand up in love and remind yourself that you've already left that reality. You've already abandoned that dualistic construct. And now you're in training to these higher frequencies. And try to bring that person back into love as well, because remember, we're here to help each other. We're here to assist each other. It's never easy, and that's why we have to feel compassion for ourselves as well, because, it's never easy when your deepest traumas are catalyzed and your feathers are ruffled and you're completely destabilized. It's really hard to bring yourself back into your heart. So try to extend compassion to the people around you who are struggling right now and have all these energies bubbling up that are reminiscent of their childhood trauma, that are reminiscent of, anything and everything that has been left unresolved within them. It can shake you up. It really can. So this is why we have to extend compassion to everyone right now. Because remember, we are not each other's enemies. We are not each other's enemies. But what these forces like to do is to divide us, to make us think that we are enemies. That's what they like to do. And they're very proficient when it comes to this because that's their entire forte. That's their expertise. How can we be divisive to get these humans to be at each other's throats when really the humans are meant to come together as one and bust the system, and realize that this was all a control structure from one viewpoint. The nine would say it's not. We architected it to be this way. But from one viewpoint, I would say that, yes, we've been dumbed down, we've been hijacked, we've been mind manipulated, and of course, what they want to do is separate humans. Because then it keeps them distracted while they can go do their dirty work, and keep you distracted in the interim. So we have to be extra cognizant of this. The people in your family are not your enemy. Your friends are not your enemy. The strangers are not your enemy. But there are many forces that are unseen by the naked eye that are very, very skilled at creating chaos within our lives. It's what they do. It's how they generate energy through us, and they love to eat away at those lower vibrational energies. Because to them, it's not lower vibrational. They equate it with power. To them, it's power. These humans are under our reign, So we have to stop being overruled by them. It's time to take our power back. It's time to ring in the new year with more love, with more compassion, with more oneness. Don't take the bait, because, and I know, believe me, you guys, I understand it's not easy. I understand. I encounter so much, believe me. And there are times where I want to lash out at the human, be like, that's not okay. There are times where I want to do that, but I have to remind myself, if I do this, it's only going to thrust me back into the container of duality, and it's going to upset me, and it's not going to help them. It's not going to help anyone. All right? And the entities are going to end up winning. We don't play the game of losing or winning. We don't play that game. That's an old game. We operate from here. Okay? So just know that anytime you have a thought that isn't to your liking, that is inducing fear in you, that thought is probably not coming from source. Okay? By entertaining it, you're going to open up a portal, an entity may attach to you, and then suck you dry. Suck your blood. So we have to be very aware right now, because the first 2 weeks of December are a time to rewrite the story, to flip the script. And remember one thing, every time that a negative scenario presents, if you flip the coin, there's a positive opportunity or an opportunity to move into more positiveness. And it's all a matter of perception. Everything is perception. If you perceive your life to be difficult, your life will get more difficult, because that's where you're putting your energy, and you get what you give. So if you give your energy to life being super difficult, well, guess what? That's what you're going to get in return, because your vibration is being reciprocated. And your vibration is being reciprocated every second of the day, every nanosecond of the day. If you perceive life to be a gift, and every time something happens that doesn't feel so good, if you can celebrate that and try to look for the silver lining in it all, maybe there's a spiritual promotion taking place. Maybe that you're on the cusp of major change and the universe just wants to make sure that you're strong enough to handle this change. So it's going to throw you this little curveball. If you see it this way, then there's no question that you're going to be positioning yourself to receive the best of the best of the best. The top shelf of quality. The top shelf. Okay? So, yes, you can expect people around you to be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs right now. Okay? There's no question that that's happening. But please use it to solidify yourself. We live in a reality that is a constant feedback loop. And this feedback loop is showing you what you need to strengthen. It's showing you where you've given your power away. It's showing you your tendency to want to go dark sometimes or want to be negative sometimes. Your reality is a true gift, because it's your mirror. And if you didn't have your reality, you would have to be your own mirror by meditating all day and going into the corridors of your DNA to find what it is that's still there that needs to be dislodged, which energies are there that need to be discharged, which karmic imprints that you've accrued that you haven't yet cleared. You would have to find all of that on your own. But how lucky and how fortunate are we to have this external reality show us things that are going on in here, in our biomechanisms, in our physical bodies. That is a true, true gift. We are privileged in that sense. So don't let the people get to you. Be like a duck and let it roll off your back. Let it roll off your back. And you may feel that tug, like, come on, say something. Call them out. I've been feeling that a lot lately. Like, I want to call someone out. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because your mind is trying to suck you back in. And anytime you're in your mind, these entities get your energy. To them, it's like a buffet. Yeah. So imagine what's going on with the millions of people who are asleep spiritually, who have no clue that their thoughts aren't even their own. You understand? Most people in the world have no clue that their thoughts are not their own. So they have a thought, let's watch porn. They watch porn. Entity latches on. Oh, I want 3 extra slices of cake. And I'm not suggesting that's bad. If you're going to do it and you're enjoying it, do it. But what I'm saying is that most people don't know how to separate from the thought. So they're not studying what's going on in here. They're not studying the active realm of their psyche. I'm speaking to you guys because you're the awakened ones. You're the star seeds. You've heightened your awareness now. Your awareness has already been heightened. Now the heart has to be opened. You see? Because your awareness is linked to the third eye. Your heart is linked to compassion, unity, love, acceptance, forgiveness, all of this good stuff which we need. So if someone knocked you off your stool and your vibration dipped a little bit, don't worry about it. Don't worry. It happens to the best of us. Okay? It happens to the best of us. Meditate, get your vibrations up, okay? And then take the overview of your life. Take the overview. What's going on, and then if there's a bullet coming your way, you can easily dodge it. You can easily dodge it if you're in your heart, because that bullet won't even know you're there if you're in your heart. Remember, you become undetectable. The mind is where they get you. When they plant thoughts in your mind, and then you take the bait. But the mind also is not your enemy. The mind can be a great device. A great device. We just have to learn how to use it. I think of it as my receptacle. It receives all the thoughts that are going on in the collective, and then I transmute them or I study them. So your mind is not your enemy. Your mind is not your enemy, okay? Your mind is a wonderful, intricate device. And remember that your third eye is in the mind. And you can actually travel and exit the Stargate portal, which is your third eye, to intergalactically travel. You can do that. The third eye is amazing. I've met a lot of people who are very heart-centered, but they have yet to understand what this can do right here. And this thing right here is extremely powerful technology that's built in within you. It's a crystal. It's a crystal that can receive information from other realms. It's a crystal that can that you can press to activate, and then your Merkaba comes online, and then your Merkaba is like your chariot, and you can travel throughout the cosmos to explore different fields. It's a very powerful device. So the mind is not your enemy. It's not. And remember that these entities, I don't like to be in judgment. These entities they're malevolent from one viewpoint, because no one should infringe upon your free will to deplete your energy. But from a different viewpoint, all of their technology is in the mind. They don't feel like we do. So you can't really blame them for making a living. Everyone has to make a coin. This is how they make their coin. They're like, ooh, let's stir up the pot. And we can't exactly blame them, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be stepping our game up. We wouldn't be increasing our awareness. So know that no one is your enemy, and everyone is a teacher. Everyone is here to teach you where you're still accepting less, where you're still giving your power away, where you're still dishonoring yourself, where you're still undervaluing yourself. Everything is a teacher. So I hope that this message helps. Let's always remember to be in the heart, and it's going to be very tempting, you guys. It's going to be very tempting to pop out of your alignment and go play in the storm. It's going to be very tempting. I know, because I consider myself to be pretty solid in my walk, and these last few weeks have been pretty tumultuous. But they've also been a huge gift. They've shown me what I still need to work on. They've shown me where I'm still not... They've just shown me a lot about myself. Okay? So I love you guys. I hope that this message helps. And thanks to everyone who's sharing. Thanks to everyone who's subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, just hit subscribe right below the screen. And then to everyone who's commenting, I read them and I like them. And I thank you for being on this journey with me. And yes, here's to more love, more acceptance, more forgiveness, more compassion, more respect, more integrity, and remember one thing. If you're in all of those, nothing can harm you. Nothing can harm you. The only thing that these energies can do is try to lure you in through false or fictitious thoughts that only stir up negativity in you. That's the only way. And if you bite on that apple that they're throwing you, that's a metaphor right there. If you bite on that apple, then you're going to get poisoned. And then because you get poisoned and it's going to knock you out of your center, then you're going to go knock someone else off their center. And then that person's going to knock someone else off their center. And it becomes like this chain reaction of events, which becomes a buffet for all of these energies. Remember that we all have a chance to ascend ourselves. Every single one of us, including these entities. So when we are in our hearts, we're challenging them to step it up. Because that technology they're using on us, all those weapons they're using on us, they're going to be ineffective. So they're going to have to evolve and find different ways or find ways to improve themselves. This is all interconnected, you know. Life as we know it is a tapestry. And every single one of us is like a thread. Every single one of us is a fiber. Every single one of us interweave within this fabric of existence. There's no bad guy. There's no good guy. That's an old way. And that's what these energies want to do. They want to keep you in that old way. You know, and it's understandable because when you've been in fear in your life, you're like, no, I don't want to do that. 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 That apartment's too expensive. I don't want to move. It's too scary. Same thing. So you latch on to what you know. You hang on to the old. But then you realize that if you jump, then it was only magnificence that was awaiting you. And you go, oh my God, I was so crazy for like being so hesitant or being so reserved. I should have just done it. We only see after the fact, you know? Some of us see before, but that's because we're working on our pineal glands and our third eye, so we have that clairvoyant ability. But most of us need to jump in order to see what's on the other side. So these energies don't want to jump. They know what they know and they get what they need. That's where we have to be vigilant. We have to be vigilant. Okay? We have to be the Spider-Man. We have to be the Wonder Woman. We have to be all of that. And we have those abilities. I promise you that we have those abilities. And everything that's going to transpire in your life is going to activate you in a way where you're going to climb the ladder of consciousness and eventually realize that you had the ability to bend reality. We're in the beginning stages right now, you guys. We have so much power at our command, so many supernatural abilities. This is only the beginning. Only the beginning. In 1,000 years from now, we'll be able to all travel through the cosmos. All of us will have that ability. We're X-Men. We're X-women. But first, we have to graduate from this level. And this level is love. We have such a hard time opening up our hearts and not getting defensive. Or taking things so personally. And other people have a hard time with that. So as the forerunners and the pioneers of new consciousness, of higher consciousness, I'm speaking to all of you right now. Be the example. Be the proof of what it means to exemplify strength, of what it means to exemplify ascension. Be the example of ascension. And let that energy broadcast and permeate the entire field so that people knock on your door and tell you, how are you doing this? And then you say, I'm here. What do you need? We have to be the living and leading example. And remember to compassionize with people around you, but don't internalize. Compassionize, but do not internalize. Don't soak up their drama and their trauma. Hold a space, though, and let them know, I'm here. Let's communicate like adults. Let's communicate maturely. All right? I love you guys so much, and I thank you for watching. And I hope that this message, that was also sponsored by the White Wing Collective Consciousness of Nine, helped you. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.